You're welcome back to Breakfast Central. Time for us to review the papers this morning and see what the front pages are saying. It's raining stories here in the studio. And on the front page of the Vanguard, we'll get into that shortly, but let's introduce to you our public affairs analyst, Theophilus Akatugba, who is going to be reviewing this with us. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Mr. Akatugba. Looking very Friday and ready to groove.
Thank you very much.
In the disco house.
Yes, I'm learning new things.
Are you going to the disco house?
Do you have a place for me to go?
No, Benga does. Benga does that. He's a club man.
This weekend, I'm mourning the passing of Ron Canoli, so I'm keeping it sober.
Very sober.
Okay. Let's get into the papers this morning, but let's also inform you that we want to involve you in the process of reviewing the newspaper front pages. So please call the numbers on your TV screen. We're also streaming live on YouTube. News Central TV Live /YouTube, or just go on YouTube to search for News Central TV Live and drop a comment. We look forward to taking your comments from YouTube. Let's start with the Vanguard. It has a lot of stories, really. It's quite a busy front page. 2027, majority of senators want real-time results transmission. Abaribe, Ningi, Ume, others vow to ensure inclusion, monitor process to presidential assent. Outrage greets Senate's rejection of mandatory transmission of results. Opposition parties blast Senate. Obi, ADC, Yaga Africa, Nwankwo, others speak. And then there's a Kwara massacre. Okay, let's take it one after the other. Let's take this big story. And then or maybe we should go through all of them.
No, it's okay.
Let's have a big story.
As you want us to
let's get a reaction to this Senate
yes, but
confusion.
You see, what they pass is transfer. So I don't know where at Baribe, if you had this in committee, but the day they came to plenary and this decision was taken, it was a scanty hall, and they had their way. And so you don't come out and say, this is what we passed. We passed that in your committees. But the day it was publicly ratified on the floor of the hallowed chamber, it was transfer that was passed. And a senator raised
a point of order.
Yes, and he's proposed that we should correct this statement, that we should use transfer instead of transmission. And then somebody, the Senate president said, is there anybody seconding? Somebody said yes. And then they put it to vote, and the ayes had it. And then he dropped the gavel. So it was transfer that was eventually passed. This idea of the minority senators now coming out because there was why were you not at the hearing? So that you will put your force to it. So
you think it's an afterthought, pandering to the thoughts of
sometimes
Nigerians?
They are too busy doing. You see, that was a very critical moment. The fact that you had a private in your committee, when it comes to the House for final approval and you are all not there, let them go and look for that video. You see how scanty that house was. It showed to you either they had done something in the private that they felt might not pass in the public and they didn't want to be there, and they stayed away, and they later coming to drag. You see, this is becoming a very bad trend in the National Assembly, where they will pass a law, and there will be dissension after the passage of that law, and somebody will say, "We will not what we pass that we are seeing." Same fate, bedevil the tax bill or the tax act. Yes. And then we started hearing that what has been gazetted. This one now, they've just passed it, and they are not that group of persons that say this is not what we.
So now that we're seeing that there's a division, and from what you're saying, it feels like an afterthought. What's your position about the use of transmission, transfer, and the importance?
As a person, it is absolutely safe to use transfer. In a country where, and a global world where people can interfere with the electronic system, or there could be a downtime, in a volatile nation like this, you don't box yourself into one way of transferring the results.
Yeah, but Ghana did it successfully. Namibia did it successfully. South Africa did it successfully.
I don't think Ghana transmitted. I don't think Ghana transmitted. Nobody transmit now.
No?
I don't think Ghana did. The transmission.
You say nobody, that's Africa, or because America did.
No, hold on. We will go into that. I'm saying that in our case, here in Nigeria, our problems are peculiar. We are not like Ghana. Ghana is a bit more homogeneous. Ghana is a bit smaller. Ghana deals with smaller polling units. And technologically, too, in Nigeria, we cannot say we are really there. If you
I mean, there are POS units.
no, don't use even those things because it's about
cell phone coverage.
I understand. Because it's individuals that get disappointed occasionally. It's not compared to a national election that is actually one of the biggest security and undertaking of a nation. The determination of who governs it, the interest that goes with it. If you are transmitting the results and they are intercepted, and what you are getting is contrary, and results have to be announced, the time to correct that might not be there. You might have announced a wrong person. So we need to be careful as we run.
So we shouldn't go with the time.
Exactly,
we should go back to Stone Age.
No, there's
not ashamed.
No, that's about shame.
Okay.
See, what we should be talking about, elections do hold in polling units.
Okay.
I still believe they should allow media houses to participate in the election in a manner that they can project the winners. They can collate results themselves. That way, there are independent, all elections, even Ghana election that you are talking about, the media, they are very active in collating. A result that is released, they add it up. They don't even care for ratification. They will add it up and project it. This person has won here. They will put all their correspondence everywhere, including the political parties themselves. The political party situation room, all participate. They have followers there. As results are dropping, they are projecting. At the end, this station will say, we project this candidate based on our collation. We project it. However, we wait for the INEC to give us a final ratification.
What if INEC now gives you a different result?
It happened in Ghana. No, that's what I'm saying. Doesn't mean. The fact is, the INEC does the final work, but that way does not change anything because you know already you must give room. Even in the United States, the elections were called by the media, but at the end, because they don't have an INEC that sits as a central body, in their case, every state is able to bring the results and they put them together, they tally them.
So that will work in a case where they don't have an INEC, not in a case where you have.
No, in Nigeria, no. In most cases, you will not project the result differently from what the media houses picked. Because at the end, you are picking the sheets that were signed. Nobody will give you figures. As News Central, your man will send you the result that took place in that election. Even the people can send you, those who participated in the election. Just put a WhatsApp number and everybody in the country will send you results. Okay. We have to be sure, but the point is this. Let us not put our INEC in a difficult place where, for example, they are conducting an election in further parts of the north or south, in rural area, where at that moment there's technological failure. And you now say only means is transmission. And then what happens?
But there's a
if
solution
you carry
to that.
another means,
You know,
there will be a protestation. They will take you to court that you couldn't transfer.
Mr. Akatugba,
yes.
you know, one thing we also need to highlight is that in as much as we discuss transmission, I think this is where I need to wear my tech hat. Transmission in Nigeria is 100% possible. You just mentioned WhatsApp now. Nothing stops INEC from having its coalition on WhatsApp as well. And I'll give you an example. If you are somewhere in Zamfara, and in Zamfara network issues, however, there's a polling unit in Zamfara, and then you take the results of the polling sheet, it's done. You can't upload it to the portal, but you can take the picture as long as the INEC rep is there, the political parties have their reps there, they take these pictures, they can all send it straight to the WhatsApp group. That WhatsApp group, once it's there, from that WhatsApp group, the people manning the WhatsApp group, of course, today's technology, 2 people can be on a WhatsApp, can administer a WhatsApp page. Once they have it, from the collation center, they can take it from there and upload it immediately.
Mr. Akatugba.
So there's no excuse that it cannot be done. I mean, we run our own small businesses or small transportation. If you pay me and I say send me the proof of payment, you know, I can't get, okay, hold on, I'll verify.
You get an alert.
I get an alert.
Mr.
Now there's this money thing going on.
I don't know that the excuse
of
saying that there are remote areas that don't have network, you know, if that excuse flies, and I'll tell you why. Because we have so much, first of all, it's already embarrassing to us that in 2026 we're still talking about, oh, these areas don't have network, so these kind of things can't happen, or we don't have electricity to be able to back up this technology. The federal government just needs to invest in technology. We have so many young, talented Nigerians who can come up with technology to defeat or to surmount whatever challenge that INEC will possibly face during the elections? Because what I don't know that we should be doing is saying, well, because this is a challenge, we will not try to keep up with global best practices, especially because the last time Nigerians can say they fully agreed without, doubt about the decision of an election was in the 90s with MKO Abiola. So every year it feels that, or every cycle, every election cycle, our elections have been in strong contention. And the ability for individuals, of citizens, to agree about the quality of an election is largely commensurate to how you would track their democracy and the success of democracy in that country. So shouldn't we be looking ahead to see what technology can we do?
We should indeed be looking ahead, but we also must know the times that we are in. You will not mortgage the election of a country because you want to move ahead technologically and immediately now jeopardize and put the entire country at risk. As at now, you said we invest, but we have not invested.
But do you agree with Nigerians?
I mean, we've
in the UK, just
$200 billion.
Just a minute. Just a minute. In the UK, for example, it took a long time for them to even adopt online banking. Very long, even while the whole world had gone, because they looked at the peculiar. Even in Ghana, I don't know as at today that I'm sitting in this studio, but recently you could not transfer money real-time the way we transfer in Nigeria through the banks, but you could do mobile money that was instant. But the banks were not able to verify your transfer instantly. It was 24 hours. So Ghana, that you are saying is technologically able to transfer, I do not know if they were transmitting their results. I don't know. I also have not checked if all this statement about electronic transmission is part of the legislation of the electoral system in Ghana. Because Ghana too has very remote areas. In fact, they face more difficult challenges compared to Nigeria in reach. So let us be very, what I want to say, election is different from business transactions and smaller transactions through the digital space. Elections are a national matter in which it could be hijacked. And whereas you think you have had a successful election, and all politicians can be smart enough, so we should give room for growth, for the development we seek, and ensure that we keep pace with it, because there are so many issues that we have not resolved. So if you now put electronic transmission as the only way, leave it at transfer. INEC will want to do whatever it takes.
But that's dangerous.
No, it's not dangerous.
It is.
We can do it.
Because let me explain why we say it's dangerous. Sometimes, let's call a spade a spade. Until you try, you never know. In 2003, 2022, they took a risk. Kudos to the late President Muhammadu Buhari. He made that reform. Nobody wanted to. He came and said, listen, let's reform the electoral system. And he pushed and passed it into law. The issue that was highlighted, funny enough, is the question is, did we make progress? Answer, yes. Nigeria saw a transformation of its electoral system. However, there was a clause there that Nigerians celebrated so much, which is clause 60, subsection 3, right? And then you come down to 5, and they were so happy that, yes, finally, we've reached something. But when it ended up in court, the court now had to choose who the winner is by reviewing that section again, and then passing the powers to INEC and saying INEC can choose whichever way
to transfer that result.
Now that is dangerous.
No,
and we'll tell you why.
It is safer than dangerous.
You think so?
Let's ask our audience.
If you have a country where its president is hijacked through electronic means, is more dangerous than the fact that we can up our monitoring and ensure that the results of our election reflect what happened at the polling
unit. Let's ask our audience.
Yeah.
Let's take it to the audience. Because
these are
let's ask our audience. You can drop your comment in the YouTube chat. We'll be picking comments from YouTube to read out. And you can also call the number on your TV screen. The argument is, which do you think is better suited for Nigeria's electoral system, a transfer or a transmission in real time? Mr. Akatugba is of the opinion that a transfer is a better option because there are challenges within Nigeria in terms of network and certain areas that might be electorally excluded because of the inability to transmit in real time. But there are a number of Nigerians who are advocating for this to be a key part of the electoral reform, as it was to strengthen the credibility of Nigeria's electoral system. Now, let's still look on the front page of the newspapers while we wait for your comments and your calls. Still on front page of the Vanguard, let's talk about Kwara massacre.
Yeah.
Soldiers came 10 hours after terrorists had killed scores, according to the village head. Meanwhile, the defense headquarters is saying something different. Troops promptly deployed on receipt of information of attack. Who are we now to believe?
Oh, no, we believe the two of them. The troops were promptly deployed.
10 hours later,
but they got there
is
10
not
hours later.
promptly.
No, promptly. So listen to Nigerian or government officials when they speak. Sometimes when they are campaigning, we don't listen. I will build a road when I'm voted in. Does not mean the road will be there as soon as I win. It could be even 2 years after I've left office. Because, listen, I will build a road. They said they were promptly deployed. Meaning, truly, as soon as they heard, they deployed. But by the time they mobilized, sign ammunition, 5 hours had gone. And by the time they got the vehicle that will take them and they need petrol, the man that will sign the petrol had gone to see his in-law. And then by the time they got out of the place where they were deployed, 8 hours had gone. As they were going on the road, they were delayed by another checkpoint that suspected them that they are terrorists. And they got there. So they could have gotten there 10 hours after the attack. But they were indeed promptly deployed. But the Nigerian bureaucracy, where prayer replaces action, where wishes replace action, this is what you get. That's why I tell you, don't underrate your country. Just try to get something that government says is free. You will see the bottleneck that they will create to make a living. It's a problem.
How about preventing these attacks?
No, to prevent them, it's difficult totally.
They sent a letter.
But the responsibility
They sent a letter
weeks before.
Oh, then if they did send a letter,
they sent a letter.
That they are coming
it's
to
absolute. It's shocking to hear that the attack took place and they were not there. So I can't believe that terrorists were bold enough to send you a letter and you did not fortify the area. Sometimes, what English is it? Beggars believe. Sometimes,
and then, I mean, you look at the numbers. Over 100 Nigerians, over 100 Nigerians perished, and we are so desensitized to it. The way
life goes on, politics,
carried on with business, like no statements. I mean, if the just mere statements.
That is that's the quality of the mind of the Nigerian. The Nigerian man lost empathy a long time ago. He lost sensitivity when he hears billions have been stolen. There are things that are so outrageous that we have condoned in our country for long. And the more you repeat a thing, what do you get? Is it a better result? No. That we are not, that it doesn't look like it was humans that were killed. It's part of our DNA. I'm telling you that what we need to cure, for you to get government to respond in real time, can you imagine a man dripping in blood rushing to a police station and he's crying that he has just been attacked? People are making jest of it. Is he the first person? Look, we're going to get police. No, there is no even first aid around. His face is dripped with blood. The blood has caked on him. The process is still taking place. They lost the humanity. So we are all guilty of it. And politicians, as you know, they believe that it is such time that they gain political capital. So the opposition runs to town. Instead of first trying to resolve the issue, he goes around, look at his newsmen to gain his political. While the government in power is trying to protect itself instead of doing the right thing. So I'm protecting myself, protecting the narrative. You are using it to gain capital, and we are feeding on the blood of the citizens. That's a problem.
Your definition, I would say, is spot on. I mean, it's clearly spot on compared to other definitions that we've heard in a while. Because truly, if you're not feasting on what's really going on, then why the narratives?
Persisting?
Yeah, why is it persisting?
And why do you think all of a sudden Kwara is now the headquarter of attacks? Why is this crime that is on Nigeria, that is in Nigeria, keep shifting location? When they stay in Niger for some time,
it's
they will
moving
move
southwards.
Moving southwest
and now coming towards with the president's zone.
Yeah.
So that they can give it to him. Look, we have to be very serious. Are we humans? What type of people have we become? Our pursuit of position, power, and money, has it diminished our humanity? You know,
trouble.
There's too much politics that we play with the challenges of Nigeria.
Too much.
And everybody seems to feed on it, and they think that way I will point out the problem to gain political capital. No. We need solutions because we are human beings first before anything else. And we must have the empathy to do so.
Still part of these insecurity challenges. I mean, it's on other papers. Other papers have reported, and other papers say we're still burying the dead in Kwara. But let's talk about U.S. troops in Nigeria. U.S. troops reportedly have landed Nigeria, and it was said that they landed on Tuesday.
On the invitation of the Nigerian government.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's get your thoughts on the importance of this, or what you think this portends.
They also said they won't be engaging in combat roles. It will be more
exchange of
intelligence. So we're not going to be seeing a Rambo-like operation.
So that's what they have said now. But whatever they are doing, by the time it escalates, they will they will have to change their tactics. Because for now, they want to be. I feel bad that we could not handle this matter ourselves, and it dragged on for so long, to the extent that this president and this government had decided eventually that this protracted matter should be resolved with external help. It's a thing that I feel is good on one part, but not too good for our sovereignty. The sovereignty we so touted, and the fact that the giantness of the Nigerian state and the capacity of our military in combat within the West African region and even at the United Nations.
Okay.
And the reason why this happened is also because everybody has turned that business into an industry. The NGOs, the government officials, everybody, the military, the civilians, the police, all the security apparatus that are posted in those areas, they have been, it is whatever make a Nigerian enterprise to flourish for long is the benefit in it.
I think
and we need to keep talking about that more drastically so that people do not feed on the blood of our citizens.
Let's take some comments from YouTube regarding some of the stories we've discussed earlier. Our first comment, Frank Obute says, APC na double wahala on Nigerian system.
That is ignorant talk. This is our problem. We just talked about feeding. He has come to feed on it. It's the same thing we are just saying.
But they prepared the table before him.
No, so he came to feast. So you should resist it, knowing that the issue here is about Nigerians that are dead, not one party.
No. This was not in reference to this. This was
for something.
So our conversations
because if
earlier.
you look at the history of things, all the parties have tasted this crisis and this solved.
This is most likely related to the conversation about the electoral amendment.
Reform.
Because Chuka Ochiama says, expect anything positive and beneficial to the Nigerian masses under Akpabio push and start Senate at your very own peril. Nigerians must occupy the National Assembly now to end this very electoral fraud.
I like the opinion, but you have to enlighten him to understand the bigger picture. It's so easy to think that once the results are transmitted, then the true result will reflect. Because the results are in the polling unit, and I've never seen candidates who went to contest election at the court bringing out those results that were issued at the polling unit. I wonder why they
are tendered as evidence.
No, if they are tendered, then why are they not looking at them? Why is it
so that's where the issue was.
Why are they not looking at them?
But that's what formed part of the issues, especially for 2023 elections, because they had brought out the forms, and then they proved it in court that, look at, they've been tampered with TPEX.
Good. So,
you know what we call TPEX.
Do you see that? So which means that's what they will transmit. Because if they have tampered with it, it is the tampered one they will transmit.
And so the question was
the tampering was done by a group of persons. The agents of the parties concerned were there when they were tampering with it.
No, not all of them. Some of them had the pictures of the original.
No, if you had the original, then the court will not rely on. They will look at, if police had one, your agent had one, they look at the ones that are most correct. There's no way to be. You see, elections can be conducted by children. Nigeria is only a country of gross corruption and insincerity. The corruption industry in electoral matters is what Nigerians should deal with. Not every reform brings up a vista of challenges because the people in the electoral system, they are deep in neck feeding on the forces
I don't
of
think
Nigeria.
the APC has any form of blame as well.
APC is part of the electoral system. Are you telling me that? If I'm talking how Nigerians operate, what that led to their... See, what is the problem of Nigeria? Is that
Somebody
Nigerians
said
don't
that-
want anything to be simple.
Michael
It is
Obieku
complication that brings the prosperity.
Michael Obieku says that you are indirectly supporting the National Assembly. They are not being sincere.
No, I support my country because I won't take a risk when I know something is so risky. I will not support, if I am there to vote, I will vote for transfer because I understand it. Some people think Nigeria is Ikoyi or VI because they live comfortably. If you know what Nigeria, travel out and see, you will not even dream of electronic.
So if you can enroll people on NIN and BVN.
Those things are, you can see where we are coming with them. From BVN to NIM, it's taking time to begin to harmonize this data. We've gone, you see, Nigeria is a developing country and each leader, somebody comes from interior, he brings ideas. We are pushing towards a goal, but we have not arrived there. And each time, everyone is also trying to see what they can do. So BVN is becoming very good for the financial system. NIM is coming for identification. It's a growing pattern. So we cannot just be because US is here, then we must therefore fast track to what US or UK is when we don't have the advancement. For example, democracy, the level of education of a United States citizens, a British citizens, a Zimbabwean cannot be compared to Nigeria. So Nigerians are mostly the level of literacy is very high.
With Elon Musk's Starlink, and then now that the federal government has dumped that and gone to Jeff Bezos' provision of internet, we can't use that. So,
if you try it,
most importantly, 300 billion.
Yeah. The money if you mention...
Now we're going to almost $1 trillion.
Can I tell you something? That money is the business. That's what creates the industry. We have to be careful about how we dump money in problems. Nigeria is just money. Elon Musk is the one that gives us Starlink. So we put all our election at the beck and call. It's better to be manual in election so that foreign agents and individuals cannot have a role to play in the election.
Okay, I still want to take some more comments and then we'll
I want to look
very
at the
quickly.
story.
Opposition is not really opposing well. They are only just crying, Felix Okechukwu says. And then Wabwog of Ferdinand Uche asks, why are the sponsors of terrorism not prosecuted under the APC?
But currently Malami is being tried because it was now revealed that there were direct information. Evil files were submitted to him and he did not try them. And that is an APC government led by the anti-corruption czar, President Buhari, to my shame and disappointment.
All right. Let's look at the story. 1949 massacre. Court orders UK to pay 420 million euros to 21 Nigerian families. In case you're wondering, it happened in Enugu. It was known as the Colliery Massacre, where on the 18th of November 1949, British Superintendent of Police back then, F.S. Phillip, commanding a number of British and Nigerian police officers, ordered the shooting of unarmed protesting coal mine workers at the Eva Valley coal mine, who actually were on strike.
Very historical.
Yeah, historic, 1949. And from 1949, now they're being told to compensate the families. Most of them have been dead and gone, even some of the family members who had waited for the compensation, but it never happened. I don't know what you make of this story.
Well, my first reaction is a very, very positive development, very good, but I wait to see if this judgment will be obeyed. Why? Because the case, I wish the case was taken to another court. So, yeah, so, the problem, because the British government
won't respect
they won't want to respect it because of the possibility of what will happen.
It could open floodgates.
It will be a floodgate. So they will be very careful.
Because more petitions will come. Especially from the country you once colonized.
And the Nigerian courts and judges will give more judgment.
We'll do more.
We'll have to loan Olive to the legal team of the Eva Valley massacre victims.
I believe the British government will reach out to Nigeria and find a solution.
Let's not forget INEC is in the news. Do we have the other paper? Let's go to another paper. Let's give the other paper an opportunity as well to showcase. This Nigeria says Electoral Act Amendment, fireworks in the Senate. Opposition senators trade words over real-time results upload, accuse the APC-led lawmakers of fear of losing elections conducted on a transparent system. Sani receives 183 rescued Kurmin Wali abductees, approves road military base. Dangote refinery backs gantry loading cautions against costs and so on. Anyway, bottom line, there's not too much stories here. I think we might have to flip back to to the Vanguard, or better still, do we have Daily Trust? Daily Trust has a very, very, very sad story. We are still burying the dead inside Kwara's massacre. That's painful. Another one, I want us to look at this one.
It also says Remi Tinubu meets Trump.
Yes.
And U.S. President acknowledges Nigeria's First Lady as respected woman. Mr.
And they passed on one of
the presidential spokespersons and handlers have been going to town with this news. Is it an achievement? Does it bring any electoral value?
You know, I listened to it, but you know, Trump can say this today, the next minute he'll say something even more derogatory.
You can call them a disgraced,
I love
disgraced nation.
It was beautiful to see such a commendation, but what beat me was that the camera people did not even know where she was sitting.
They looked for her.
They were
looking for her too.
Yeah, because maybe the lighting in the room, but the camera people should have spotted that where she was. And I don't know if they have made a correction.
This, for me, when I hear that, I look beyond the surface value of the celebration. I'll see the deeper, maybe planned, maybe not planned, intent of portraying Nigeria as a religiously liberal country that protects Christians. Because if the number one woman in the country is a Christian and a pastor in a known, or one of the biggest church in Nigeria, that maybe speaks to the idea that the government is protecting Christian citizens. So it looks more political to me than
But you know the government.
It's easier to pay lobbyists $9 million.
If $9 million was paid for lobbyists, they would have put it in the notes of the president to specially recognize the First Lady, who is coming to our Thanksgiving, is it our
prayer breakfast?
Prayer breakfast.
And at the same night of that prayer breakfast, he was calling people pathetic. He was using
monkeys,
the terms. And the same night, he posted a picture of the former president and his wife as monkeys.
Donald Trump is that Christ-like behavior. I always say that Donald Trump is. I am fascinated by who he is. To the extent that I see him as a very rough whip for world leaders. They have messed up a lot. Yes, a very rough. You know the whip that is rough.
There's nothing presidential
you put all kinds of tons to make sure you beat people into what they could not imagine.
It's not presidential, and it will take America a long time to
I like you. It's not president. That's the whip. In a country where you say democracy is the best form of government, and you were able to produce such a whip that you yourself are calling dictators. Look at Davos. They were calling Donald Trump dictator to the extent that when he came, all of them panicked. They sucked up to him. They couldn't tell him to his face. So the point I'm raising, a Donald Trump is a reminder that nations of the world need to be independent. I have just realized that the whole world depended on America. And they carried on as though they were prosperous.
I mean, there are talks that the United Nations might go bankrupt by
No, they will, because they are starving them. It's already forming the board of peace. It's going to end it. Let me see what is going on. Look at China now becoming the darling. Did you see Canada going to sign agreement with Canada? A China country you describe as undemocratic, human rights abuser, something you can't touch. You went to sign an agreement and you came home to celebrate it, saying that a new world order is emerging. You see what happened to Keksteimer, who went to China and celebrating visa-free for the supposed number one country in the world. It was celebrating that. This nation and the leaders that we have produced today, they have become weaklings. And this weakliness of nations' leaders is now shown.
I think for me, they're just fulfilling a prophecy.
Donald Trump is now showing them that Africa must take advantage of it. The division in Europe between the allies of evil, those who have held down these developing nations by giving us loans we could never pay. hold us down with policies and dictated how we live our lives. If we don't take advantage of that division to grow, the next phase that will come, the breeze, the wind that will come, small nations will be.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
All right.
Well, on that note, I think we can call it a wrap for the weekend. We've taken practical look at all the stories. The major story, like you've highlighted, is, of course, like we know, the electoral reform still maintains its position as the #1 story in the land, especially with the front pages. And the #1, too, tying closely, is the massacre in Kwara State. Never been seen before in that state, and now they're experiencing it for the first time. We wonder what will come out of that one. There are promises by the IG of police and also the #1 citizen, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, after he met with the governor, that they would ensure they catch the perpetrators. But the big question still remains. If assailants, terrorists came, kidnapped people in your town, took them away, and then brought them back, as we're celebrating the release of those who have been brought back, but yet there's no single statement on what happened to the terrorists.
No, the terrorists have been paid.
If there was a battle,
So
gun
are
battle,
you not
or someone
created an
killed.
industry out of that? And maybe
Every
very
time I
soon we
tell
need to
you,
start adding
don't
it to the
statement.
GDP.
Don't you see how you carry 300
figures.
persons
300 people.
and they cooperate with you and stay with you and you release them when the time comes?
And we've seen this play out multiple times.
And you think that this
And
is,
we're still
is
doing
this
the
kid-
same thing.
Is this
Same thing.
kidnapping?
I mean, there's a
Okay,
press release.
Is
and
it
they wore-
300 terrorists that
And they
kidnapped
all wore
300
uniforms
persons?
when they got back. They always sew uniforms for them. How do they do that? They prepare uniform. There's a, you have 1 minute, please. We're almost out of time.
It's-
we need to
it's
get out
really
of the
sad.
studio. Thank you to our audience. Thank you, Mr. Akatugba, for joining
it's a
us.
pleasure.
Thank you.